as a independent rapper in 2010, 11, 12.
What was your pseudonym?
It was Terp to It. TERP, the number 2 IT. Terp to It.
Terp to It.
Yeah.
I like the kind of has like a roll to it. Terp to It.
It started off as kind of a one-off joke type of thing, but then it was like, this is kind of fun. And I was in Austin at the time, and then people wanted to see shows. I did a couple festivals, and it was like, I guess we're just doing this. And it was weird. It was weird.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah.
Was you making your own beats too, or?
I did not produce my own beats.
Okay,
I worked
okay.
with a couple different producers.
Hell yeah,
but
man.
This was when nerdcore hip hop was starting to become a thing, and I was in Austin at the time, so it was sort of the moment. Not that I was doing nerdcore stuff, but I definitely wasn't doing legitimate hip hop. So I was somewhere in the middle, you know?
I've always wanted to see MC Chris perform, dude.
I did several shows with MC Chris.
Get the fuck out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
here. Oh my God. You know who MC Chris is?
No. I do
You
not.
seen Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah.
MCP Pants? Or like the Spider?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a real rapper?
Yeah, dude. He's
Oh,
like
shit.
this isn't he like kind of pudgy, chubby nerd?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has like the super high pitched voice, but he be rapping about you ain't never heard of Bubba Fett, like Fett's Vet? My
Yeah, I heard-
backpacks got jets, cause I'm Boba the Fett.
Oh, yeah, that's in that one movie.
For
Yeah.
Jabba Hut to finance my vet. Wiki, wiki, wiki. That's a shit. That's old. I grew up on that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boys Don't Cry, all that stuff. Fuck yeah, man. That was you met him in Austin?
Yep.
You son of a bitch, dude.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's super fucking cool. Was he nice?
Yeah, he was nice.
Great.
It was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Was that like at a Comic-Con thing?
No, it was just a regular show. It was at Emo's in downtown Austin, Texas.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And, you know, in that moment in time, there was very few people who were doing like it's a hip-hop show, but it's also got some other angle to it, whether it's like kind of comedy or kind of nerdy or kind of like a party. And there wasn't very many people who I think were in that genre, and so I was I found myself in a very strange place for a few years there, being one of the only people who was doing that.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hey, Austin go hard, dude. Like they got a lot of stuff going on, especially now that, you know, the comedy scene's blowing the fuck up in Austin, and that's like one of my it's on my bucket list is go to the comedy mothership.
There you go.
And I want to see Kill Tony so fucking bad, dude. It's in my. I just want to hear and see Hinchcliffe fucking murder motherfuckers, dude. I don't know. He's just one of my. I never will sign up for that ever. And if anybody ever signs me up, I will not go up there because I don't. That's just not for me. Oh, and by the way, we're with Chris Trew, guys. If you know.
Oh, we're on.
Yeah, we've been on, dude.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's fucking do it, man. Chris is the comedy coordinator here at Fête Du Void and for HellYesFest in New Orleans. And what else, that comedy club down there?
Yeah, Comedy House New Orleans, 610 Fulton Street. So, yeah, love being here at Fête Du Void. Pleasure to be amongst people like yourselves.
Good to see you, baby.
I love being in Oakdale. This is a great spot.
Man. I was super excited to catch you this year because I heard a lot of good things. I heard that Joe got up last year on was it here? Right?
No, it was at HellYesFest.
It was at HellYesFest.
When I tried the joke.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried.
But yeah, I caught a couple of the set yesterday, and like I'm not gonna lie, I did write some stuff. It's a true story, but I've never done it. And you know, at one point I talk about my dick, but it's a true story. But I don't know how to like project that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like,
You want to talk about it live right now? I can help you out.
oh yeah,
I can help you out. What's the bit?
The bit?
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that, man.
On the spot.
I know. I remember what the synopsis is, but I had like to get to it. It's gonna be about 3 minutes. I can tell it in 3 minutes, but I have it written on my phone.
Okay.
So,
but do you know what the general like synopsis is? As you said, like file save as. What are you saving this bit as? What are you calling it? You should know that. You should know that.
just I put the bones to it, but I didn't put the stock into the bones because I was just like, maybe if I'm feeling froggy one night or if I'm drunk enough, I can get up there and do it.
Okay, so we're in like stage 0.2.
Yeah, but,
okay.
But there's something written though.
Okay, all right, I'm with it.
There is something written.
Maybe next year when we're sitting right here, you can tell me the bit.
I might do it because like I someone else had asked me about it. I'm like, man, if I do it, I feel like I have to do it. I can't just do it once. I mean, I can't do it separate times because I wanted the first time I wanted to just project it and try to land it as best as my ability.
Can I give you a tip that might be helpful?
Sure.
For
yeah.
anyone listening to this who's thinking about trying stand up or really any kind of art, but comedy is my area, my zone. It's all about getting the first one out of the way.
Yeah.
And that cannot be a referendum on whether or not you should keep doing it. It's like you just do it no matter what. No matter how good it goes, no matter how bad it goes, you're doing this, X number of times before you even begin to make a judgment call. You just got to go up there and do it.
Well, I got it now. You just made me super nervous because this is like your fucking thing anyway. But the concept is, the true beliefs in love and knowledge, because those are the two core based main things inside you that are so true. When you learn something, it's like it's you study it and you feel it and you remember it. But love is like instilled inside you and it's natural, and that's what the story is about.
Okay. We're heating up here. We're getting them closer and closer to telling this joke.
It's there, man. Like I said, if I want to do it on air, I don't want to.
You need to go to one of Chris Trew's improv classes.
Definitely, yeah. I would love that.
I was trying to cook one up here on the spot for free for you.
It's just see. Fuck you, Joe.
Okay, hold on.
What did I do?
Because like with in my head, what I see when I visualize, when you get on stage, you have to like feel the vibe that's like going on. You can't. I mean, some guys just remember their lines or whatever, but like to me, I feel like I can just go off of how I feel to say what I had written. It's like I don't want to say it how it's written now. That's just like, okay, I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna put my spin on it as I do it.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so
that's a good way to be. You want to. I always coach people to the set's the backup plan. Like what you have written down, that's the backup plan. Unless something else, is something else more organic, more beautiful, more chaotic, whatever word you want to use happens in the moment. You take that and do that. Do the one of a kind performance, and the set's the backup plan. So,
like I said, I know what I wrote. I fucking wrote it, but I should have. I should the little kid inside me was like, I should have did my homework before fucking Chris came on, because like we wasn't sure if we were able to get you on today or whatever. So I wish I would have read it before you got here, so it would have been more fresh, because my fucking brain is so far beyond where it should be, thanks to the party out here. So
yeah, we are a day and a half into this peculiar, beautiful little event. So I don't blame you.
Yeah, we had I had got here Thursday, and I went to New Orleans the night before to the Fillmore to a show, and I've been going a little bit too hard and heavy.
It's easy to do. It is nice though out here. And Chris, I have a question for you.
Let's go.
So I noticed that you work with multiple different comedians. Do you sit back and help them with their sets and stuff like that as like a mentor type?
Yeah, I mean, I do a good bit of that, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I think mentoring is sort of it comes with the territory whenever you book a comedy club and you book a comedy festival, because inevitably there's going to be people who are newer to the craft, who are very curious about the craft, and they want to talk to people who have done things that they want to do. And so some of it is very organic, it just happens. But I also do it in a more formal way too. Some comedians will come to me and we will come up with a plan, like we're going to meet this often. This is your homework. This is what it will look like to be like coached by me, basically.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's underrated too, because a lot of people assume that with comedy, you were either born with it or you weren't. It's like you got it or you don't.
Right.
And there's some truth in that. Like some people are born with an innate ability to make a room full of people laugh. It's true, but most people are not. And those are the people who you're seeing on Netflix and Comedy Central. Like not every single one of those people just came out being hilarious. They worked at it, just like Olympic athletes, like the most highest level athletes in the world. They weren't born that way, and then they just never worked at it. You know, people have mentors, people have coaches, and I think comedy's the same thing.
I just like, but there are those people who think they are funny.
Those, I would say, are some of the most difficult to work with,
Really?
to be honest. Oh, for sure. If I'm teaching a class and I'm going around a room and I'm telling and I'm learning about everyone there, and someone says, you know, if I say like, "Why are you here? What inspired you to do this?" Anyone who says, "I've been told I'm funny my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm the funny one in my group of friends,
Yeah.
and and I got this." I know right away that person is going to have a really hard time because they're probably not going to be open to feedback. They're probably not going to be flexible. They're going to be set in their ways, even though they haven't really established any ways.
Right.
So yeah,
I feel like if I were to like to just roll the dice at it, I'd be more of the storyteller type instead of trying to make up one-liners or something like that. Just because like for years I've been like people you know, especially I work with offshore. It's like some of the most fucked up individuals in America are offshore workers or plant workers or any blue collar. They just got a fucked up sense of, you know, comedy or, you know, whatever. But and they say, "Hey man, tell me a joke." I'm like, I'll tell you a fucked up story, you know, but I don't have any like one-liner jokes or like the punch or whatever. And that's just something I wish I could do. Is just like, man, a one-liner, just bomb punch.
well, the interesting thing though about what you're saying is that's the part that you can work on.
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
part that you can develop. It makes a lot of sense that you would say, "I got funny stories, but I don't have the joke parts." It's like, yeah, well, that's the part about you going to the gym. Like that's like you actually working it out, you know, because most people probably have a funny story. It's in their wheelhouse, something that happened to a friend of theirs, something that they heard at a bar or whatever, right? But then it's like how do you put your spin on it? How do you put in your tags and act outs, and how do you heighten the story in certain parts? What's the rhythm to this? With a little finessing, you can make those stories into jokes because you've heard it before, right? You
Right.
probably love some stand-ups who tell stories, but it's full of jokes inside the story.
but
It's not
it's
just
also true as well.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. It's not just beginning, middle, and end. It's like, if this is true, then what else is true? How do you heighten X, Y, Z? There's formulas to it for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can. There's plenty of people here of the people we grew up with that know that I am famous for misery and misfortunes, and and that's just something that's just like just haunted me for goddamn since we were fucking kids. So I just accident prone, man. But I bring it onto myself, so ain't that right, Bubba?
Yeah. You'll be all right.
Yeah,
It
I'm
happens to
still
the
here.
best of us.
Yeah, I'm still here. I did lose a wallet again last week.
Oh, and you lost your phone the other night, too.
Yeah, but I did find it. So
Congratulations.
yeah. Fuck you.
So, Chris, would you say you're more of a storyteller comic? Okay, before I ask this question, so with comedy, is there one line storytelling? Is there any other type of
Or like dark and crude or-
yeah.
Yeah, well, there's different adjectives, right, to describe how
Right.
someone goes about doing their set, and you know, there's like the classic, you know, setup punchline comics. There's comics who lean towards dark material. There's people who do a ton of crowd work and really just stay present in the moment and improvise with the audience. There's comedians who do one-liners, storytellers. I mean, really, the best comics are probably people who are doing some combination of all those things on their own terms, right?
Or like circling back the taglines and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think anyone who's listening to this who is thinking about doing comedy or is interested in pursuing it, I think it's a mistake to be like, which kind of comic am I? And then you spend energy trying to figure that out. I think you just
Right.
go up there and you just talk and you just do things that you think are funny, and then you learn how a crowd reacts, and then you adapt and evolve and grow like that. I think if you're, I mean, it's like, imagine being a kid who's just like wants to play. I don't know who wants to play football. It's like, you better learn as much as you can about all the positions instead of being like, no, I only want to do this, and then you're
Right.
only going to ever do that. You're kind of closing yourself
Yeah,
off.
you're
to,
blinding yourself to,
Yeah.
to anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you guys were to say, we only interview musicians. It's like, okay, then what happens when you get a really fun, I don't know, like weird local politician or comedian or I don't know, like producer who comes in here, are you going to say, no, we only do this? I don't know, it's like you should be trying a bunch of different things and seeing what works.
Well, we did that at the initial side of this show whenever we first got asked to join this goddamn podcast, because it was originally built to be what was it? It was hip hop and
music,
what?
right?
Yeah, it was hip hop and something else, and then that hip hop and sports.
Nice. Okay.
All right, so I don't know anything about sports, anything. Go Saints. I can't tell you exactly what all the people do.
My dude said, "Go Saints."
Yeah,
he said, "Go Saints," and I can't tell you what the people do.
So, but then we got in Joe because I knew a little bit about the music side of it. Because Joe knows a lot about sports. He keeps up. He follows college and professional. Well, that kind of just like went away, and then we started. I didn't know. I was just super excited to talk because I'm an arrogant funk, and I had to tone it down a lot over the years. And so finally, we just realized that look, the professional aspect is what is the professional aspect. So like that's why we talk to people like, "What's your podcast about?" Like literally any and everything, but we don't like specialize in politics because we don't fucking know politics and or religion.
Yeah.
And yeah, anything else.
Stay away from them areas because people just get mad and they just want you to hear their opinion.
Yeah. And then Charlie's been coaxing us to like whenever we list our stuff on Spotify and on our website, and he was like, "Dude, you guys should just really think about, when someone says, 'What is your podcast about?' Just say it's a comedy podcast." But those also go both ways. You're funny, and also there are serious conversations involved. But the listener is going to know, oh, it's explicit. So if you like pull out, a fuck you or a fuck her or fuck them, it's okay, because like the listener already is like, oh, well, I know what I'm getting into. So is that about right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. See,
yeah, but
we're still working out the kinks.
We've interviewed some crazy people though, even just this year. Mitch out of West Monroe and the whole Open Heart production crew. That was amazing,
yeah.
And being a part of that. And then David Bosnick, a.k.a. champion, fighting out of Alexandria.
Okay.
He has a fight on November the 9th. He's fighting for bare knuckle championship. So it's just, I guess, if just summing up, we are different but our own unique podcast.
Yeah, it was like you guys are the constant. Like you guys have a brand, an identity, a like energy about you. And so when you know what that is and you develop that, then other people can come into that because you're the constant, right? So it's like your audience knows they're going to get you guys, but they don't know who's going to be thrown into the mix with you. I think that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, we had tried different written formats to follow throughout the years, and it just ended up us getting really drunk and not even reading what we had to spend time writing.
Or doing the terrible job of reading it.
Yeah.
Like,
and mispronouncing things.
I'm prone for that.
Yeah,
easy.
I guess like just trying like through trial and error for so fucking long, we just finally just like, all right, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna be charismatic as we can. We'll say some fucked up shit here and there, and we'll be genuinely, trying our best. And so that's what we've been doing ever since.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what, you got anything coming up, Chris?
Well, HellYesFest is coming out. That's the big New Orleans comedy festival that Third Coast was a part of 2 years ago. Last year. Last year. My bad. Last year. And yes, it's the 11th annual. It's the big New Orleans Comedy Festival.
11?
Yeah, it's the longest running comedy event on the Gulf Coast. And we're in 6 venues this year, including opening night at Republic for my big show, The Open Mic from Hell. And then
that's a good spot, too, man. Yeah.
And then on Sunday, I have a new show that I'm doing called Huge Ass Comedy Show. And it's going to be at the Joy Theater. And it's an all-local lineup. So I'm doing in the biggest venue that we got. We are doing an exclusively all-local lineup because my mission is putting over New Orleans comedians. So
Fuck yeah, man.
Very excited about that.
Yo, you ever go into Lafayette to play perform at 337?
No, I've done a couple bars in Lafayette and like some theater, but I haven't performed in Lafayette in a long time.
And I think I had read something in the local lanyap that's based out of Lake Charles that they may be putting in a comedy club there too in the future.
Nice.
It might be in the same area as where the Capital One building got demolished and shit. I think they were trying to develop that property. So
Hey, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
We need more comedy spaces in southern Louisiana. I mean, all over the world, like all these like non-major markets. It's always cool when there's somebody there who is deciding to plant a flag and go through all it takes to make a comedy scene happen. No matter how small the town is, when there's like a dedicated space or at least a dedicated person to creating multiple spaces for comedy, we all win, and I support all that.
And also Alexandria, Huckleberry Brewery, they host some improv, or not really improv, some just. I think they had a couple of guys come through that were just doing like a circuit run or something like that.
Cool.
And it's an outside stage, and that's been there too. So like it's used to around here in Central Louisiana there was a lot of like live underground bands and stuff like that. Now what I've started to notice is it's coming back around, because there for the longest time everything was just centralized, like Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans. And then now I think it's coming back to all the major cities in Louisiana, and it's more prevalent for, stand-up is getting real recognized here as well, and you're, part of that too. So
Well, it's more accessible than ever before.
Yeah.
And there's more people who are trying it, which I think has a lot to do with people are being inspired. Like they're seeing more people who are having success while not having to move to LA or New York or Chicago. They're a path has been blazed, right? And so people are like, oh, okay, so I grew up and I live in Oakdale, for example. I don't have to move to Chicago to pursue comedy as a hobby. You can actually go to an open mic in Lafayette. You can go up to Alexandria or whatever. And then now you're seeing people on tour stopping by. So now you're able to meet people, and you're like, oh my God, I don't have to move to do this.
Yeah.
And that's been true for a while now, and it's trickling down to even really small towns. And so what happens is those towns become scenes. People then, back in the day, if you were good, whoever the best comedian in Alexandria was 10 years ago, they probably couldn't wait to move because they wanted to go and see if they could hang in a bigger city.
Yeah.
But I think now it probably means something to be the best comic in insert any small town here.
Yeah.
And that wasn't always the case. And so when that happens, scenes start to really develop and blossom, and then people stop moving and people start building and growing and establishing comedy clubs and festivals and special events. And it's like, now that we do that, it's like there's just so much more happening. It's so much more accessible.
Yeah, like that's something that's like really like that's new to us, because that's like you said, it's something like local to look forward to, and that's I'm happy about it, because I love comedy. What's the best medicine than fucking laughter? Well, besides beer, but
Well, it depends on what the sickness is, because for some
yeah.
things you're going to want real medicine.
Yeah, well, allegedly,
Can't laugh cancer away.
Allegedly.
So all the comedians that are performing at Fête this year, are they all local New Orleans comedians?
Yeah, there are two. I brought two regulars with me from Comedy House. One is Ben Bauman, the other Crockett McKelvin, and JQ Palms, who is she has a weekly show over at Comedy House. I've been working with her for a long time. JQ Palms is also here. Keys the comic from
JQ
Lake
was part of
Charles.
the morning show this morning, right?
Yes.
I love that.
That was really
was
fun.
Super fucking fun, man.
Yeah. So, I just brought a little crew over here, and I hope to keep growing it. This year, last year there were 3 shows. This year there's 4 shows, and we got a better stage set up this year. And so I'm hoping that it keeps growing just little by little by little. Maybe we'll have a little pop-up comedy club somewhere around the Third Coast studio one of these days. Who knows?
Man,
Who
that'd be
knows?
fantastic. Yeah, definitely.
I'm really grateful for Fête Du Void existing and allowing us to program comedy, because it helps legitimize comedy. It's even if the people who are here only walk by and just see a glimpse of a show, but then they also see it on the schedule. It's just making people think like, no, comedy is art as well, and comedy belongs in spaces like this. So eventually that person will go and buy a ticket to watch a show, or go to a festival because there's comedy, or whatever. So it's all part of the process.
So with the new stage that y'all are performing on outside of Tiki's on Avon's, you like that better than being in the warehouse?
Well, I There's benefits to it. I mean, there's pros and cons for sure. I think the warehouse, there's one of the warehouse shows we did last year had a really good crowd, and everyone was seated and they were up close to the stage, and you can't beat that. That was really good. But there's something about the show yesterday and JQ's show this morning where it just felt more open and inviting, and people were more willing to take a chance. I think people are more willing to come up and just walk and hang out for a few and see what they think. Whereas in the warehouse, it feels like more of an active decision. Like, am I coming in here and sitting down
And be
for the
dedicated
show?
to it. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But there's pros and cons to both. I mean, I would be grateful wherever the show was, but yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to both.
All right.
I give you guys flowers, man, because that's it's a lot of, to have that charisma, to try to project charisma to people you don't know, and just to give people a piece of you vocally. That's a lot. That's a lot to say, hey, I'm gonna do this, and that's balls.
I appreciate
that's
it. Yeah,
fucking balls, dude.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, I really encourage everyone who even is a little bit curious, looking at you, even a little bit curious about doing it, should try it.
It is there. I was just like, man, because like Joe knows, I ain't scared of shit, dude. Cause I used to
Except for telling me that joke that you wrote.
yeah. Well, that's because you're like a
Let's do it.
you're like a guru daddy to me. You know what
Let's
I'm saying?
take advantage of the moment. Let's do it. He should do it, shouldn't he?
Huh?
He should do it.
Yeah, but
I think so.
it's not ready. I ain't ready.
What does ready even mean?
I would have a better idea if I had more serotonin. But when
All right. I'm not going to force the issue.
I promise you one day.
Okay.
Because like I said, I've been on stage, like half my damn life. It's just putting yourself out there in front of people, but it's different with comedy or like giving a speech and shit. Music is a different ball game, because you can being a singer in metal bands, you can just close your eyes half the time and not look at nobody. You just yell at them, you know what I'm saying? But like
Look at the ground.
yeah, but there's something to me about comedy. It's not the like, hey, look at me, like, hey, can you relate to this? But I want to get it across as like, let's come together as an understanding.
Well, I can tell that you are passionate about it, or you suspect that you might be passionate about it because it is becoming this big thing in your head.
Yeah,
that you're
you're
like, wait, I can't just do it. I have to be ready, and I have to know about it. And I think that's pretty common, and that just tells me that you're like that you've been thinking about it for a really long time.
Yeah.
But be careful not to be too much of a perfectionist, though, because you might never get up and do it if you're waiting for the perfect circumstances.
Well, a lot of it that I worry about is I say a lot of bad things, and I don't want to say anything fucking bad because I say some fucked up shit, and it's not. I just don't want to make myself look worse than I already do just by like natural causes because I say it. But think about me, you can ask Joe. I own up to my fuck ups, and that's like part of the idea in my head. I can't let you make fun of me before I make fun of my fucking self, and so that's like kind of like what I think I can do.
Sure.
With that, so
Sure.
yeah.
Well, the good news is you go to any open mic, and you're probably going to see a lot of people who would describe themselves the same way that you just described yourself.
Okay.
People who were like, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
people
yeah.
who were like, who are like, I say some fucked up stuff, or like, I got a crazy brain, or like, I'm wild. And so if you go to more mics, you might be like, oh, this is like, and I'm saying this in a good way, not in a negative way, but you might hit a point where you're like, oh, I'm not so special that I need to like wait and preserve this. Like everyone here is going through what I'm going through to a certain extent in terms of like the process of getting up on stage and like signing up for the mic. Like everyone there has or currently is going through something that's like, I want this to go really well. I've been thinking about this my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the wrong thing, or
And also,
whatever.
I don't want to just like go up there and like, because I want to condense it down to where it's shorter, where I'm not just throwing out word salad and like a bunch of filler shit. I want to, short to the point, but have an impact to it. So that's why
Sure.
like it's not the general concept idea is there. I just have to make it not so wordy.
You brought up a good question inside of my head for Chris. So what is like the perfect length of like for say you do open mic, how long is that run? Like you say I go up and do open mic. Is it like a minute or
3 minutes maybe?
or 2 minutes?
It depends on the show. I mean, and there are some open mics that are notorious for giving 50 people 5 minutes each, and then half those people take 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But, then there are some mics that are known for being speed mics. It's like 2 or 3 minute sets. For my show, for Open Mic from Hell, which is happening later on today at Fête Du Void, and happens every Friday in New Orleans, we do 2-minute sets. But you got to do your set with a challenge. So it's like you pull a challenge and you got to do your set like as a rapper or as a pro wrestler or with backup dancers or whatever. But every mic is different. So you don't get hung up on the logistics. Just like don't think like I'm going to wait and do a mic whenever I have 3 minutes because this mic is 4 minutes and I want to pause for laughter. It's like you're already in the weeds.
Right.
Don't even think like that. Whatever the mic length is, that's what you're going to do.
That's a good question. Yeah, very good question. Oh, what time is that event tonight?
It is 7:15.
And then it's
Avon Stage.
Avon Stage. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hot dog, dude. Fuck yeah.
I got another one for you, Chris. So last year when we went to HellYesFest, we had Victoria Banner on, who is from Canada, and I just want to like, how do you come across someone all the way in Canada and got them all the way down to New Orleans to do the comedy show and be a part of the podcast? But that's just, was that through like travel or like just happenstance? Because I see you travel all over the place.
Yeah, so Victoria, her story, it's a little weirder because me and her were, I was doing comedy at a festival in Pemberton, British Columbia. I was doing comedy at like a big outdoor music festival like this one. And she was just there as an attendee, but we connected there and we met, we stayed in touch. And many years later, I mean, that was like 2012, I think.
Oh, wow.
Many years later, HellYesFest, we take submissions now. For the first couple of years, I would just book it with my favorite comics that I just knew and I would meet when I'm traveling. But then we opened it up for submissions and we started getting, everyone I'd ever met anywhere in comedy started applying to it. And so Victoria happened to apply last year, so got her in, and thought it would be fun to have a Canuck on the third coast show. So I thought it was a good mix, because I don't know, I'm not Canadian, I don't know what it's like up there, but I was just having a feeling that she would get a kick out of being on your podcast. Some Cajun ass dudes, and that y'all might be like, we get to talk to this Canadian girl. What's going on here? What a weird combo, and I think it worked.
I talked to her around the 4th of July. I did a call-in interview with her, and that's an interesting thing because Canada's got some interesting vibes going on up there.
Yeah,
she's super nice too. Right?
Yeah, she got a drink. It's clam juice. It's clam juice and what's that? Bloody Mary.
That Clamato.
Yeah, but it's with clam juice.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what make Clamato. It's like a Bloody Mary, but
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like those things that you think are disgusting that I fucking drink.
Yes.
Like that.
Oh. Ooh. No, I do not like
Yes,
tomato and
that's like
alcohol mixed
super
together.
Indigestion central. I just like it. I'm a disgusting bastard. So
I want to like Bloody Marys so much. Like aesthetically, they look beautiful.
do you drink?
I do, but a little, not a ton. But
Okay.
like Bloody Marys look like something I really want to be a part of. I feel left out because I just don't like the way it tastes. But it looks amazing.
What about like? Do you enjoy like just V8 juice?
No.
Oh well, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that one.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the tomato. I mean, I'm with my guy right here. The tomato part is that's the problem.
What about like tomato soup? Do you like that with like a grilled cheese and shit?
I'm not mad at tomato soup. I can get with it.
But
I can
is
get with
it like the alcohol mixed with it and the spicy that just sets it apart?
I just don't know. It's just not a good
Because
tasting drink to me
there's
at
other
all.
ones too. There's like like the Bloody Caesar that it has like a different spin to it than a Bloody Maria that's made with tequila instead of vodka.
Look, if some bar had a tomato soup martini, I would actually probably try that. And the whole time, it would be a Bloody Mary. I just wouldn't know about it.
Well, think about this. They have the vodka sauce pasta. It's made with vodka.
Yeah, but that's creamy, right?
Yeah, well, so is Mater soup. You know what I'm saying?
You call it mater soup?
Why are you getting so defensive
Hey,
over
you gonna get on
tomatoes
that
over
horse,
here?
you better ride it. You know what I'm saying?
You're letting your true side come out.
Yeah, his tomato bias is taking over Third Coast Podcast.
Yeah, you've struck a nerve. Well, shit, we sat down and talked about fucking hot dogs for 10, 15 minutes yesterday with fucking Greg.
Yeah, that is very true.
And ranch sauce. That how he makes his own ranch sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything aside from comedy, what is like another passion of yours?
I'm a big reader. Big reader. I've been turning up my book intake and been doing a lot more I'm a lot more just like writing, not with any end game, like before it was, I'm only reading this book if I think it'll make me a better person, or like I'm only writing if it's because I'm writing for this show, I'm writing to try and get accepted into this thing or win this contest. And I find that I'm getting a lot out of just reading and writing with no end game.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. That's hard for a lot of us to turn our brains off and be like, like I've always been in the past. I've been guilty of, this is not a humble brag, but I've been guilty of like turning anything that I'm into a project.
Right. Okay.
It's like okay, I love New Orleans sports. I love basketball. I love the Pelicans, the Saints so much, and then it's like I should have a sports podcast, and then you do that, and then you're like, well, now this is like a work thing, and I can't actually just watch the game to unwind or whatever. Yeah. So it takes a lot of work, to be like, there's no end game here. I'm just reading a book.
Put some pleasure and some leisure.
Yes.
And put it to the side. Like, this is for me.
Yeah.
But not, yeah.
Or it's the same thing with people who like run or jog, like half of them are training for a marathon because that's their goal, or that's like the road race. But shout out to them. It's all good. But I'm kind of more fascinated with the people who are like, I'm running because the joy of running. Like, I'm not trying to break my mile record. I'm not doomsday prepping. I actually just like running.
You a bad motherfucker if you like to exercise. I told a guy yesterday because when we got here Thursday, we was like, yeah, we saw you fucking run like a mile. I'm like, yeah, he did enough for fucking all of us because I'm not gonna fucking do that. Nah, man, I hate myself too much.
Well, Chris, we're getting close to the end.
Oh, it's sad.
Are y'all about to kill me?
No,
okay.
There are no windows in this room.
I wouldn't walk too far in the back, though. You might get ate by something. Yeah. Not for sure.
Your last podcast guest is back there waiting to eat the next one.
Greg's back there chained up.
Wait, before we go, one more shot.
One more shot.
Are you going to send it?
What's the name of the joke? If this joke was a track on Spotify, what do we press and play on? Okay, you got a lot of work to do. But you know what? I'm rooting for you.
I have, like I said, I have the bones. I gotta connect the pieces.
Okay.
That's why.
All right, bring those bones next time I see you.
Okay.
We'll tie them together.
Okay. I said, like, I wanna do it justice for you. But I want to give myself a little bit of, if I do it, like I want to, though I am enthusiastic, I get shy a little bit.
Yeah,
know?
I get you.
Everybody lives with some anxiety, and that something that I have a good idea about, I want it to be better than I think it is.
Yeah. You know what? If you ever want some help, if you ever want to chat about like detoxing from perfectionism or
yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Let me know. And last time I was on your show, that's when I asked you if you wanted to be on HellYesFest that year, right? Yeah. I have a different proposal for you guys this time around. If you are ever interested in taking one of my improv classes, I do them virtually.
Okay.
You don't have to pay for it. I'll give you the link and you can just come on the next class and just try it out and just see what it's like. I'm curious if it will help you feel better about just like not worrying about your jokes being perfect before you do it.
Over analytical about it.
Totally. Yeah. Improv will help untangle a lot of that over analyzation. It'll also help you be more in the moment and communicating with more, just being more present,
Yeah.
Which I think is something you guys clearly know how to do because you wouldn't be running a podcast if you didn't enjoy conversations and listening and making other people look good and all that. So you probably have a little bit of the improv structure in you. But if you're ever interested in like, let me see what this is like. What's all the fuss about? I would love to have you in one of my classes.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
That's-
thank you.
Just holler.
That
Just
sounds
holler.
fucking fantastic.
And we do them virtually now too, so it's
That's
easy.
okay.
You can do it from Oakdale.
Oh, I'm definitely
Yeah,
interested.
yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
I'm
Cool.
super down
Because
with
it
that.
probably help us with the show too. Help us
Yeah.
with interviews and stuff like that.
I don't see how it wouldn't. I mean, that's not a judgment on you. It would help it helps anybody. Like no matter what level of charismatic or talkative or what someone is, it's like learning improv for the first time is a game changer because you just learn how to not be in your head, not be planning what you're going to say while someone else is talking. You're actually like in the moment listening to them, and that's all that stuff is obviously good for podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Well,
Yeah, I
holler at
appreciate
me.
that. I will, baby. Hey, and one last thing. Give us some words of wisdom.
Some words of wisdom.
Yeah. It's like a thing we do.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some words of wisdom that came out of my last improv class that
Okay.
I did. We talked a lot about noise versus music in terms of a conversation. Like noise being people are talking over each other. You know, it's like we're talking about our favorite movie and what it meant to us as children, and you just like butt in and just start talking about something completely different. Like that's noise, right? Like we're
Yeah.
not connecting. But like when your conversations are like music, there's a rhythm, there's back and forth, there's like verse, chorus, there's like meaning, there's emotion. So I was coaching my improv students, like how can we have our dialogue resemble music more than noise? So my words of wisdom is like, how can we do that just as humans in general? How can we have, and I'm talking about communication, like how we treat
Yeah.
people. How can we turn that more about like more towards music versus noise? Noise is conflict, arguing, butting heads, fighting for air, and music is like I'm listening to you while you talk, you listen to me while I talk, and we find some common ground. Probably find a chorus. Maybe we even start singing along by the end of it.
That's something that I've still always tried to work towards. I used to be really bad with this show, like because I felt like if I didn't say it, I would forget about it. But I shouldn't say everything that comes to mind. I should just let someone else talk and just listen and just go with that. Just because I have something I want to say doesn't mean I have to say it. And that's something I used to battle with this fucking show. And over the years, I mean, Charlie still rags on me for fucking talking too much any fucking way, but it's like, I've gotten better, I've gotten better. But that's a very true thing, Think of it as like what is the seamless, endless flow that we should form together,
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank y'all for having me.
I fucking love you, dude.
Yeah, it's been a
you're the
pleasure.
best, man.
Y'all are fun.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, man.
It was a good sit down, and look forward to your set later on tonight.
What is this, number 5?
Yeah, this is 5 now.
Chris Trew, Cinco, Fête Du Void. Love
Cinco
y'all.
means 5?
Love you.
Cinco means 5.
I hope so.